In a very upsetting development, my assistant manager, Grant McCann, has left me to go and manage a football club, because apparently that's what he still does in real life as well. As you can see, my hair is so disappointed in his actions that it's getting closer and closer towards a 90s style centre parting. I am on the verge of just having an undercut, a number 0 undercut, curtains. Just go back to 14-year-old Kev. Or I can have a normal haircut at some point. Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 10 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're at home against Ebbsfleet and then away against Lincoln, both in League 2. Since you were last with me, we've played quite a few games actually. Where are we? Schedule. I'm still not got used to them moving the schedule button. We had a little bit of an iffy run of form. Grant McCann left to go and be manager of Port Vale, I think. Transfer history, staff. Left to go to Port Vale on this, who are lower in this league, I think. Hold on, let's check. Yeah, they're below us. On the 7th of December. And that's the day we lost to West Ham. We then managed to scrape a win together. We then lost 2 games consecutively in the league. And in that gap is when my new assistant manager came in, who you did just see, but I don't remember his name yet. Callum Brooks, who is currently, in real life, assistant manager of Poole. And got sacked by them a year ago, or 6 months ago, and Gabby Zakwani, my director of football, decided he was the man to come in and take over from Grant McCann. He did kind of fix the rot as well, because 3 defeats from 4 games without McCann is problematic. We won our first game with new guy whose name I can't remember. Hold on. Brooks. Here. The main reason is because training went all over the place, because I get my assistant manager to do all the training. In fact, I haven't auto-assigned coaches again yet. Because I get my assistant manager to do all that, we had 3 weeks without an assistant manager of basically just nobody doing any proper training, everyone moaning, morale was dropping. As you can see, morale for a team who are joint top of the league isn't where you'd expect it to be. But we are in an opportunity to push on in the second half of this season and win the league. That's what we've decided we want to do. And it all starts now with a New Year's Day fixture and then a promotion clash against Lincoln. So this is the team that we're putting out there. We've got Hudson in goal, a back 4 of Alcock, Knott, Edwards and Justin, with Ruffles, Edser and Morrill in midfield, and then Blackmore in behind Tuazi and Owen James, because we've had a striker injury crisis. That's the other thing that might be to blame for our poor run of form. We had Liam Cullen out injured. Just as he got fit again, Marcus Sheldon got injured, and I thought, it's not a disaster. I'd rather have Cullen than Sheldon, so he's out for 5 weeks with a twisted ankle. It was originally 8 weeks, I think. But then in Cullen's first game back, he then injured himself again. He's got a calf strain and is out for a month himself. Horatio Hurst, who would be our normal backup player, he's also injured with a twisted ankle and he's going to be out for a couple more weeks. So we are absolutely scraping the barrel for a striker. Owen James comes into the team because I'm assured by the comments that he turns out to be any good. But if we look, that's the wrong thing to click on. If we look on here to see just where he lands in the pecking order of strikers that we've got at the club, you have to scroll to find Owen James. That is a problem. Hopefully he scores today, because if not, we'll bring Daniel Wright in and either play him or Blackmore up front, because they're both apparently better than James at playing as a striker. And Daniel Wright hasn't really had much in the way of an opportunity to actually get into the team yet, which is a little unfair on him, because there was a little bit of Jack Payne, former Posh player. There was a little bit of excitement about the signing of Daniel Wright in the summer, because he should be quite good. But because we've got Blackmore here, who's very, very good, what's his face? Right. Why can't I remember players' names today? Full disclosure, I've just watched about 6 consecutive hours of Japanese wrestling. I'm recording this on Thursday, just after I've watched Wrestle Kingdom, and I'm a little bit frazzled in the brain from just sitting in this seat for 6 hours already before I start recording videos. That was a bit of a mistake, but you never know. Names might come back to me. Oh, Tuazi can't quite turn it into the back of the net. I need this coffee. Apologies for consuming my beverage on camera. It is a green arrow cup, so there's every chance it will look completely invisible. And you can see the pitch behind me, which makes up for it and makes it really cool. Ruffles just hit the frame of the goal. That was quite an impressive shot. I'm just going to hold this cup here forever. Let's have a little sip of my coffee. As if I don't drink that, I'm just not making it through this video. And if I don't get this video done now, you're not getting any videos over the weekend, because I've grown accustomed to not working weekends now. So if you want Back in the Borough episodes over the weekend, I need to record this video today, despite my tiredness, and hence the invisible coffee, which might not have been invisible. They were a lot of words that weren't necessarily relevant to the video. So 25 minutes in, we are dominating the match, as is our want at the moment. 58% possession, 7 shots, compared to their 42% possession, and just the 1 shot that wasn't on target. And I thought they were going to score then. Oh, there you go. Turn the heating off while I'm on camera as well. Why not? I'm not even close to prepared for this video today. That is a tasty looking free click. Oh, can one of you just commentate on this match yourself? No? Basically, I think Japan is trying to destroy me. Japan have discovered my plan to become a Japanese millionaire. And and if you don't know what that is, you should be watching the streams, which were back last night as you're watching this. But they've discovered my plan to become a Japanese millionaire, and they're destroying me from 2 angles. So I was up late playing Persona 5 on the PS4 because it's brilliant, and then had to get up early to watch Wrestle Kingdom, which was also pretty good. So they've kind of Japan attacking me from 2 sides to prevent me from getting enough sleep so that I can produce proper videos. So if you've got a problem with it, take it up with Japan. And yeah, are we going to score? No, I'm perhaps also a Japanese player. We'll call today Japan Day, and it could be the day I become a Japanese millionaire. Who knows? Are we going to score a goal now? No. I'm so hot. That heating on as well. Imagine a sweaty old man sitting in his garage for 6 hours watching wrestling. That's what it's like in here at the moment. It just feels muggy. I've gone in to make a cup of coffee and had a jacket potato, but now it's just a little bit. It's hot in here. Really hot. Oh, it's raining in game. That makes me feel good. I wish it was raining in here. Right, what are we doing? That's not the one I wanted. We're on control already. We might need to. I don't know if tweaking the system is the way forward. I think probably the rest of the team is playing as well as they have for the rest of the season. The problem we've got today is that we don't have a goal scorer in the team. Tuazi's always been there as the big target man, link-up man, very creative, but doesn't score an absolute ton of goals. But he's had goal scorers alongside him in the shape of Cullen and Sheldon. James, I don't think, is going to be that goal scorer. And because of that, we're creating chances. We had 1 clear-cut chance, 2 half chances. Haven't scored any of them, though. And we need to find a way to break the deadlock. Otherwise, Daniel Wright comes on at the hour mark. There you go. If we've not scored, he comes on at the hour mark. And the James experiment ends. He's very nervous. He should be nervous. He's not good enough. He's got 1 minute to score a goal. Or if anyone scores in this minute, then he gets to stay on the pitch. Right, Morrill. Lumps it up towards Tuazi, nods it back to Blackmore. There are men ahead of him. James is sort of hovering around trying to get his goal that will allow him to stay on the pitch. Alcock plays Blackmore in behind. Cross comes into Tuazi. And with 22 seconds to spare, Tuazi allows James to stay on the pitch for at least another 10 minutes. Puts us 1-0 up. It's a nicely worked goal in there. This is exactly what we should have been trying to do when we realised we weren't going to have our normal prolific free scoring play. Get Blackmore into positions where he can set up Tuazi, and Tuazi is not going to miss that kind of chance. And it is 1-0. And we can stop panicking now. We'll just take it down to standard. We don't want to go too silly just yet. But I think standard is probably okay. And now let's have a little look. We're probably going to take James off now anyway. It was a 10-minute stay of execution. Ruffles, it's his first game he's played in midfield for a long time. I don't want to say all season. It might be all season. Morrill's also. In fact, let's make a triple. We haven't done a triple substitution for ages, but it's quite clear from looking at that. There's 3 players who haven't been pulling their weight. Which way that's probably. We'll play Blackmore as the striker. Not Blackmore, Wright as the striker. See what happens. We'll give it 5 minutes and we're going to switch to counter-attacking as well. But I just want to take 5 minutes to see how this combination of players does. Because I'm thinking ahead to the Lincoln game already. Lincoln are 6th in the league. They were 4th before the game started. Ebbsfleet, much lower down. Oh, there you go. James has scored now, just as I'm going to take him off. Should we keep him on? It was a sublime goal, apparently. I kind of feel like I need to keep him on now. We might make the change. I think it'll do that commit to change thing, won't it? We might have another little look. That's a lovely finish from James, actually. So we're not going to commit changes if it gives us the option. Look, he does a little cartwheel as well. No, don't proceed with tactical changes. Now let's have another look. He's still on a 6.5. So we'll still take him off. There you go. We let him get a goal, but he's coming off anyway. In fact, Aaron Haley is one worth mentioning because he scored a goal on his first appearance for us in his last game. He came off the bench, 16-year-old striker. And those of you who are wondering where the Patreon players are for the last season and a bit, I didn't do it over Christmas because I was recording well in advance and didn't want to spoil it for the people who are the Patreon players. But there will be a video over the weekend where we dish out some Patreon players for people. And I'll keep it out of the two main series. It will cover both of them, Non-Leeds Legend and Back in the Borough. And we're going to basically pick the best new gen players and allocate them back out to anyone who's on the Patreon for $20 a month or more. And there's quite a few people at that level now, so there'll be a few players to hand out. We're also going to have a little bit of a chat in that video about how we do that going forward, because I've got a suggestion for a potential change. As James just scored again, so he's not been taken off yet then. Do we keep him on this time? I think at this point we probably have to keep him on the pitch, don't we? Clearly, Owen James works well under pressure. It's a nice finish as well. I guess, once again, we're not going to commit those changes. And now we'll have another look. Right, he's up to an 8.8 now. I think at this point he probably is going to stay on the pitch. Morrell's still not playing well, though, so Gardner can come on for him as planned. And, I mean, this changes everything. We'll still take Ruffles off as well. But we don't really have another... I mean, we'll just do the two now. There's no need for the drastic changes we were making before. I'm trying, how do we make our third substitution? We were doing a triple substitution for a reason. The reason's not there anymore. If they score this, we go counter-attacking. They didn't. We won't. What we will do is make our last substitution. We'll probably just take Ryan Edwards off because actually Knott's even tireder than he is. So we'll take him off, bring Connolly on. We've got three really good centre-backs, so we may as well give them all game time. This seems like it's been a very long match. But we've turned things around in the end. It's been an impressive performance. And James might actually be the answer after all. To RZ. James is running beyond him, but it's a ball over the top to Blackmore, who probably should have done better with that than that. And we know he can do better than that as well. It's a little bit of a shame that that's gone flying over the bar. But I think Owen James has done enough to get himself a start against Lincoln, which sorts out one of the issues that we potentially had. The midfield, probably going to make some changes there, though, because it didn't look very good until we made the changes. Right, we have 1 day's rest and then we play Lincoln. The big change then is bringing Rodriguez back into the team, dropping Ruffles back to left back, where he's been playing for most of the season, and Alcock moves over to right back. Let's get into the game. We've switched to a standard mentality. Owen James is struggling for match fitness. Yeah, but he scored 2 goals in the last game. I think we'll be all right. Why has it got a star above him? What does that mean? Highest average rating. He's played 1 game. And Tuazi has most assists. Our top scorer, obviously not available at the moment, so I think that's Cullen. Yes, my players can adapt to any situation. Yes, let's show them what we're capable of. We're capable of football. Yay! I'm starting to, as we've now hit January, I'm starting to keep an eye on what Notts County are up to as well, because there's a big gap forming behind us. The two of us are 9 points clear of third place Crawley, so you would think both us and Notts County are going to get promoted this year, but to be this far ahead at this point, we've got to be winning the league as well. We don't want to just get promoted, but Notts County did beat us earlier in the year, and they're a bit good. We have got... It is the transfer window starting now, obviously, and we have got not necessarily money to spend, but we've got about £10,000 a week of spare wage budget. So I'm putting a few feelers out for players. I've asked my director of football for a list of strikers who are available, and we're scouting a couple of them. And we've had a look. I don't know what else we need. The only reason we really need a striker is because of the injuries we've got. Though if James has another match-winning performance today, then we probably won't even bother signing a striker, because Cullen and the other guy, Sheldon, they're going to be fit again by early February. We've got Horatio Hurst as well. We don't need 6 strikers at the club if James is going to be good. And I don't know if there's anywhere else that we need to strengthen. Maybe a goalkeeper. Clint has now signed for Walsall, I think it was, in the league above us. So we're not going to get him. but a proper goalkeeper would be a priority, and a striker if James ends up not being any good, or if we pick up another injury up front, obviously. But I don't think we need to improve anything in defence or midfield. We're pretty solid in all those positions, as you can see by the calibre of players we've got on the bench in those positions. Gardner, Cragen, Justin, Wright, Connolly. These are all players who would get into most teams in this league, I think. And, I mean, they would have comfortably got into our team last year. We just signed so many good players in the summer, we didn't necessarily need them all. Rodriguez should have done a little bit better with that. It's been the first good chance of the game. I wouldn't be mortified with a 0-0 draw against Lincoln, so I'm not going to push on to control mentality or anything like that at this stage. I'm pretty happy with standard. Not so happy with the performance of these two. We only have one option to bring on for them. Tuazi's shattered. James wasn't match fit. We've got to trust in Tuazi, I think. And Morrill can come off for Gardner. That'll do for now. Tuazi, I am a little bit worried we might be about to break him by keeping him on the pitch, but if we break him, then we know for sure that we need another striker. So makes my transfer business that little bit easier to get my head around. Are we going to make another change? Don't think we necessarily need to. Tuazi, can he do a little bit of magic to justify keeping him on the pitch? Rodriguez to Gardner. I know he's not called Rodriguez. Tuazi! That's why we kept him on the pitch. Because he could pop up and score a header like that. And we're immediately going to drop down to counter-attack him with a view to going defensive, probably with 10 minutes to go. It's not my preference, but needs must sometimes. And we are fiddling with mentality a lot at the moment, and it seems to be working when we do. Tuazi, it's a lovely little header. It was a great cross from Alcock, and he just got just enough on it to turn it into the goal, but without putting it too close to the keeper. Edzer crosses to Knott, and it's now 2-0. Forget the idea of going defensive. We've done what we did in the last game, actually. I wonder if we're marvellously fitter than everyone else at this level, because we've just turned it on in the last 20 minutes like we did in the last game. And Knott weighs in with a very, very important goal. And I'm happy to leave this on counter-attacking now, and we'll just make that final substitution. Who is really, really tired? Knott is really, really tired. Tuazi's really, really, really tired. In fact, we could probably do this at this point. Bring Cragen on to play there. We don't really want Blackmore as a target man, but we could do that with him. It's not the most threatening front three I've ever seen, but we need to protect Tuazi a little bit, and I don't expect us to concede 2 goals at this point, so we shouldn't need to score anymore. Right, cross comes in. Tuazi, I thought he was going to grab us a third and guarantee that we didn't need to keep him on them, but he has now gone off, so we can rest him a little bit. Blackmore looks like he could probably do with a rest as well, but we don't have enough substitutes. It's a travesty, and Gardner heads clear. We need to keep an eye on what's going on here. 8 minutes to go. We're giving Lincoln time on the ball. Panic stations. Defensive. And I might even go... I don't think I've ever gone contain before. If I have, it probably didn't go well, or I blocked it out. But I think give it another 2 or 3 minutes. I don't want to do it for loads of the game, but maybe for the last 3 or 4 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, we'll go contain and see what that does. I'd worry about doing stuff like that without changing the formation or anything, but what the heck. Let's go contain. 5 minutes of added time. Hopefully we just won't see a highlight. Right, Cragen, forward to Blackmore. That is a foul. That is a foul all day long. Apparently it's not a foul. But we have got men piled up behind the board, and we do pick up the win. There you go. Kev does tactics again. Players negative response. Shut up. Don't care about the players, just care about the league position. And we are up to... Well, we are still in second. The only thing keeping us off the top is goal difference. It's not a situation I'm used to being in. When do we play Notts County again? On the next episode is when we play Notts County again. That is going to be a massive, massive game. If you've enjoyed today's video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, 4 o'clock, 9 o'clock, every single day. And thank you very much for watching.